smarter to travel in groups.
Why do human beings cooperate? That's the question. So anthropologists point to two different kinds of cooperation in order to explain how cooperation systems may have evolved. The first is mutualism. So if I partake in a behavior that benefits everyone, then animals like me will be selected for in the evolutionary process. So if there are a bunch of humans sitting around and one of us spots a Bengal tiger that's going to eat us, and one of us shouts out, we all benefit from that action, right? So if I spot one, I shout out. If you spot one, you shout out. We benefit from each other's ability to spot and shout, right? Mutually beneficial cooperation. The other kind of cooperation, though, is active cooperation. In active cooperation, I'm taking time from what I'm doing, and I give time, effort, and resources to you. I help you clear your sidewalk, or I help you carry your groceries to your car. I do something that isn't really in my best interests. Now, why would I do that? Why would I help you? Well, there may be two reasons for that, two explanations anyway. The first is, I'll do it because you're related to me. By us helping you survive better, I'm helping my own genetic material survive also. So if you're my cousin or aunt or parent or child, I'm more likely to help you, right? This is called kin selection. But we don't just help people who are related to us, we also help strangers or near strangers, right? Neighbors, coworkers, whoever. Why do we do that? Well, we might do that because we expect those people to then reciprocate and be good to us. Or we do it because that makes us participants in a web of social obligations, which eventually pays back to us because everyone in this web of social obligations participates in the same way, that we all help each other, and therefore it just kind of gets paid forward. So if I help you change your tire, then maybe someone like me or like you will stop and help me when I need to change my tire, or when my shovel snaps while I'm trying to clear my sidewalk of snow. Whatever it is. So those are a few of the reasons why cooperation may have evolved in human beings. You're welcome.
If you happen to take economics in school, then you were probably taught about the prisoner's dilemma, which goes like this. Two people, Wolf and Whiskers, are arrested and are each faced with two options: to rat or not to rat. Briefly, if Wolf chooses to rat and so does Whiskers, both will serve fairly long terms, whereas if both Wolf and Whiskers choose to not rat, they'll both get off with shorter sentences. However, if one rats and the other doesn't, then the turncoat gets off with the shortest sentence and the poor accomplice serves the longest possible one. It's obvious that the best choice for them both is to say nothing, while the safest option, which you may recognize as the Nash equilibrium, is to rat to prevent receiving the longest sentence. This little strolling game theory actually has massive implications in ethology, or the study of animal behavior. Let me put it this way. My back is itchy. I may have lice. I don't know. This is before mirrors were invented, so I can't see my back. Thus, I ask, and you, Mr. Squirrel, choose to scratch my back, and thus will lose some energy from the acorn you just ate. But now, I will be more likely to scratch your back when the time comes, even though it will cost me a portion of my acorn. Obviously, the safest option is to not scratch the other's back in return, since we wouldn't know the other's next move, and it certainly wouldn't be worth losing a part of our precious acorn energy for not. But by taking that risk and reciprocating our altruism, you, Mr. Squirrel, and I will both be sitting comfortably, lice-free, and will develop a relationship that will help the both of us survive, as long as we both keep cooperating. And it's because of this that fishes like the Spanish hogfish expend energy to clean larger fish for food, protection, and why the larger fish don't eat the smaller fish for nutrients, as well as why chimpanzees groom each other, screening their friends' fur for parasites. In fact, over time, species can evolve to become more cooperative. But that, my friends, is a bedtime story for another night.
Biologists have long marveled at the complex social behavior in insects. Now, a team of roboticists has managed to mimic the foraging strategy of leafcutter ants. The team used computer simulations of small robots whose behaviors evolved over time. The robots start out with just a few simple behaviors, like moving and grabbing objects. But they're not pre-programmed with instructions on how to retrieve the green blocks and bring them to the nest at the bottom of the slope. Gradually, small changes in the robot's programming cause some of them to stumble onto productive behaviors. At the end of each simulation, the robots that performed well are more likely to go on to the next round. Eventually, a system develops. Some robots drop blocks from the top of the slope, and others collect them at the bottom. This is the same system used by leafcutter ants.